The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Bet you wondered where I'd got to. Hello, welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. For those of you that don't know who the hell I am, my name is down there. I'm Gatesy. Welcome along, and please don't forget, if you are new, don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support. I can get a little bit potty mouth for people that don't know me. So if adult language is offensive to you, this is not the place for you. So you might want to disappear. Anyway, so thanks for joining me. So a few little things. I just want to have a little bit of a chat to anyone that's actually tuned into this live, or actually anyone that listens latterly, stumbles across it on YouTube and thinks, oh, this guy looks reasonably, well, coherent to a point. Just want to sort of like run a few things by with you. Obviously, it's been a little while since I last did a broadcast on this channel. February, I think it was the last time I hit record or stream or anything like that. So let's get into it. So a couple of little rumors that are abound, and just want to sort of like get your take on it. So there's a rumor doing around about N'Golo Kante. Now, I believe that the rumor was, and may well still be, 20 million quid transfer fee. Now, at the minute, N'Golo Kante is playing out in the Saudi Pro League and has been throughout the last year. So he's now 33 years of age. He had a half decent Euros, truth be told, and it seems off of the back of that, there's now some interest from West Ham in possibly signing him and getting him into the club. Just got a little comment here. Yes. Just for you. Yeah, so it seems that off of the back of the Euros, a half decent Euros by N'Golo Kante, it now seems that there's a little bit of interest possibly coming from London Stadium. 33 years of age. I'm a little bit concerned by that because I'm not being funny. It was a fairly well-established fact last season that we had one of the oldest squads, if not the oldest squad, in the Premier League. And now we're talking about signing a 33-year-old. That's the first thing. Second thing, I do worry whether his signing would block the progress of someone from the youth team, like a George Earthy, like a Lewis Orford, someone like that. Not quite sure if I'd be in love with that signing from that angle as well. 20 million quid's a lot of money to spend on a 33-year-old. And I've had this conversation with a few people, and a few people will seem to have a different point of view, and that's fine. You might be one of them. But people are sort of like, oh, N'Golo Kante, he's a great player, this, that, and the other. And the thing is that you're probably thinking of the N'Golo Kante that came through at Leicester, won the Premier League in his first season in England. Then in the second season, he'd moved to Chelsea. He won the Premier League a second time. And he's also won the European Cup. He's won the World Cup. He's won numerous trophies and a fantastic player at his peak. Here's the thing. If he was still at his peak, he would not be coming to West Ham. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. If he was still at his peak, he would still be at Chelsea. And that's the reason why he left Chelsea. If you actually look at his stats from that last season, he played 7 Premier League games. Just look at the stats, look at the numbers, go on transfer market, whatever resource you want to use. He had 3 separate injuries: hamstring, knee, groin. He played 7 Premier League games. In his last 2 seasons in England, I've done the maths, in Premier League matches, he played less than 44% of the available matches in Premier Leagues that he could have done. So I'm just like, no. And there's a lot of people that think I'm wrong, and that's fine, not a problem. You might, like I say, you might be one of them, but I just think that there's so many things here. You know, we've had it before where we've signed injury-plagued players. Jack Wilshere being a recent example. If you want to go further back, you've got people like Stuart Robson for the older generation is another name, or Kieran Dyer or Freddie Ljungberg. You know, take your pick. Players that we've signed that we knew had a little bit of a question mark over their fitness. And yeah, I don't think that we can really afford to do that. You know, I mean, he's on 400k in Saudi, and he's not going to obviously get that coming to us, but he's going to command a fair chunk of change, isn't he, on the wages front? What do you reckon? 120, something like that, give or take, 125. So that's still a lot of money. And even if we sign him on a 2-year deal, that's an awful lot of money to outlay if you factor in the transfer fee that we're going to be asked to stump up. I mean, I'm hearing rumours, I'm hearing whispers that it's hit the buffers a little bit, but you never know. I mean, but just for me, I just think it's buyer beware, not a good investment on our part. I know some people would say that in what he would bring in terms of his experience and in terms of his leadership qualities and all the rest of it, for those younger players like the George Earthys and the Lewis Orfords of this world, that it would actually be a beneficial signing in that regard. And I take that on board, but I just think there's more minuses than there are pluses for me. As I say, 5-6 years ago, I'd have been absolutely fantastic. That's a great signing. But the problem is that 5-6 years ago, where we were and where N'Golo Kante was in terms of his career development, he wouldn't have come to us in the first place. So it's quite funny that now all of a sudden where we are, we're about to embark on a new era, the Julian Lopetegui era, and now all of a sudden he's interested in coming to West Ham. Not for me, thanks very much. But there's another story, and again, this is someone that's on the thumbnail, Fikayo Tomori. Now, again, a player that's had time in the Premier League. He played for Chelsea previously. I think he also had a loan spell at Derby, from what I can recollect. And he's gone to AC Milan in his first full season as an AC Milan player. He won Serie A. He's got 5 England caps, I believe. Didn't go to the Euros, obviously. Gareth Southgate deemed him surplus to requirements. Fine, no problem. 26 years of age. And there's now a story doing the rounds that we might actually be looking at getting Fikayo Tomori in. Now, I actually think this would be a real good signing, personally. You know, he's still quite young. He's approaching his peak years. He's got Premier League experience. He's also got experience playing in a top European league, playing in Champions League football as well. He's someone that ticks a lot of boxes. English, you know, that's another little box that's ticked as far as I'm concerned. That would be a really good signing. I think, you know, if we could have a centre-back pairing of Kilman on the left, Tomori on the right, that'd be a really young relative for centre-backs, you know, they're sort of like mid-20s thereabouts. You know, be a couple of good signings, 2 young English lads, good little partnership I think they could put together. And it may well be, I mean, I'm don't know whether Lopetegui is going to possibly look at maybe going a back 3, back 5 sort of combination, and maybe you can plop Mavropanos in there. I think Zuma, for me, I think his race is run. Aguirre wants out of the building. Let him go, quite honestly. I think that's probably part of the reason why we've signed Kilman, quite frankly, another left-footed centre-back. So Tomori, I'd be all over. But you might have a different point of view. Again, you've got a comment section there. I'll chop away at that in due course. But get your comments in. on some of the names that we're discussing, please do, and give me your thoughts, give me your perspectives. Would you be interested in Kante? Would you be interested in Tomori? Another one that's come up, and again, this is an AC Milan player, and not one that I'm actually terribly familiar with. The young Belgian lad by the name of, and I hope I get the pronunciation of this right, it's Alexis Saelemaekers. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I might have pronounced it completely arse about face, but Alexis Saelemaekers, I speak it as I find it. So that's what his name is. Now, he's young Belgian lad. He spent last season out on loan from AC Milan at Bologna in Serie A, and he's someone that, from what I understand, can play wide, either in a attacking or defensive point on the pitch, either a fullback or a winger, conventional. And again, this is a player that I don't really know too much about, if I'm being brutally honest. He's a name that I've seen out there that possibly we're interested in. I guess, again, he's a sort of fairly young lad. I think I'm trying to remember now, I think he was mid-20s. I'm just going to have a little look. Do excuse me. I should have got this all prepped, but it's quite funny. I haven't done this for a little while and I'm quite out of practice, so you'll have to bear with me. Right, okay, there he is. Yeah, he's 25 years of age. He's played for the Belgian national team 12 times. Anderlecht was where he started in his pro career. He got loaned to AC Milan. They then made the deal permanent, but he then got loaned out to Bologna last season. 25 years of age, as I say, he can play on the wing, he can play fullback. And I suppose we probably do need a fullback, if I'm being honest about it. We've obviously got on the left, we've got Emerson. I think he's got that number 3 spot berth sewn up, not a problem. He's got obviously Aaron Cresswell as his backup. Then on the right, you've got Vladimir Kufal. Who's he really got as competition at the minute? So is he going to slot in there? Don't know, possibly. But as I say, I don't really know too much about this kid. As I say, all I'm going by is what I've seen on the news, that he's been linked to us. I don't really know too much about him other than what I've genned up on Wikipedia, on Transfer Market. Potentially could be a half decent signing, but I don't really know too much about him to really make a comment. But he's got international experience. He's played for at a high level Serie A, European experience as well with AC Milan and Anderlecht. He would have got. So I don't know. Might be one of those ones. Bit like Andy Irving, in the player that you've not really is quite unheralded, and you're not quite sure what he actually brings to the table. And all right, it's early days for Andy Irving. I'll just mention this. I'll just sort of like weave this into the conversation. And we obviously signed him a year ago from Austria Klagenfurt, I think it was, and didn't really announce it. It was just sort of like, with whatever. Yeah, we've signed him, but we're not going to announce it. We're going to loan him back out, and he's obviously come back. He seems to have really sort of like bedded in well with the team, with his teammates around him. The squad seems to have really sort of taken to him. And then yesterday, as I recalled this, we played Dagenham in a pre-season friendly up at Victoria Road. He scored the only goal of the game. Really good goal, left-footed drive from outside the penalty box, gave the goalkeeper no chance. And it seems that maybe he's going to sort of play a half decent part, but we'll wait and see on that. Another name that I want to sort of get in before we knock it on the head here, John Duran. Now, John Duran is a striker who plays his trade at Aston Villa. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Again, although I know he's at Aston Villa, not really a player I know too much about. He's quite young though. I mean, he's 20 years of age. He's 6'1", so he's quite well put together. He went to Villa in 2023 from Chicago Fire. Now, looking at his record here in terms of sort of like goals and games played and sort of thing, he's had 23 appearances in the Premier League last season with 5 goals. And the season before that, he had 12 appearances, no goals. So in Premier League matches, he's got 5 goals in 35 matches. And I sort of sit there and I go, well, this isn't exactly someone that's sort of a prolific goal scorer. we need someone that's going to come in and chip in with a fair amount of goals. Now, all right, maybe I'm being oversimplistic about looking at just sort of like the numbers, and there might be things behind it. I mean, like those 12 appearances in the Premier League season before last might have all been from the bench for 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there. So I might be judging him rather unfairly. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have a little look, because I think probably what I need to do, and probably what we need to do, is have a little look at how many minutes he actually played, to get a better understanding on whether I'm being quite harsh in my analysis. And it is just sort of like, just an average Joe. I'm not scrutinizing, sort of like I'm not going on sort of anything that I've seen. I've not really seen anything again of this guy any moment. They have this Alexis Saelemaekers. He's a bit of a lump, this guy, as I say, 6'1", young lad, so he's got potential. But yeah, let's have a little look here. So in the Premier League, hold on, wait for this to load up. No, this is I've pressed the wrong button, it would appear. So let me just. Right. So yeah, so he's played 35 matches in the Premier League, 5 goals, 0 assists, and minutes per goal. Now that's not too bad. When you look at it, minutes per goal, 111 minutes per goal. Now, given that there's 90 minutes in a match, 111 minutes per goal ain't too shabby. That is not too shabby. Now, that's given me a little bit of a different perspective on things. And in actual fact, in the 35 games that he's played, he's only got 556 minutes. So again, that's an example of sort of like I can look at things from one angle and make a judgment on how I feel about someone. And then when I look at it from another angle, 556 minutes is what he's contributed in those 35 matches. 5 goals, they've come at 111 minutes apiece. And that's actually pretty prolific when you stop and think about it. So I don't know. Maybe that's someone that we need to have a closer look at. But I don't know. What do you think? So we got N'Golo Kante, Fikayo Tomori, Alexis Saelemaekers, John Duran, players that we've been linked with in recent days and weeks. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts. As I say, you can have a little look, gen up on them on the usual websites, the usual resources, be it Transfer Market, be it Wikipedia. As I say, I've even sort of just doing it there on the fly, and I haven't rehearsed this, nothing. I wanted to do this completely naturally with you guys watching and give me your opinions. And just there looking on Transfer Market, he's got a goal every 111 minutes. And when you look at it like that, it's like, oh, actually, that is not too bad. That is not too bad at all. Let's see who we've got in the live chat anyway. Let's say a few hellos. Hi, Larry. Hope you're well, mate. Haven't seen you for a while. Well, you haven't seen me for a while either, so it goes well both ways, I get. Hi, Charlie. Hope you are well. Sonny, hope you are well too. Thank you very much. Yep, it's the shirt from that night in Prague. Can you guess what name and number I've got on the back? The first one to get it right, I'll buy you a lighter when I see you next. There is a particular name and number on the back. Charlie says he's wearing the shirt right now. Can't be bad. Can't be bad. I wonder if you've got the same name and number on the back that I've got. Charlie said £5. £5 for what? As Charlie says, yeah, I've got no idea what he's on about. No idea what he's on about. But no, there's some things that we can we can see how it all pans out over the next couple of days. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, as I say, Kante, I'm just like absolutely not. Please, it just doesn't work for me. And look, if we sign him and if he makes me eat my words, do you know what? I'd be the first one to turn around and say, no problem. But I have to judge things on the facts and what I believe to be true. And if new information comes to light, then I'm at liberty to change my mind. But at the minute, N'Golo Kante would be quite a large no from me. Fikayo Tomori, I would be absolutely all over. Charlie, it does not say Santa 69. It is a player, and it's a player that was a key factor in that triumph in Prague in 2023. So that should narrow it down for you. So it's probably not Connor Coventry. Yeah, so Fikayo Tomori, yeah, I'd be quite happy with that. I think that would be a really good signing, and I think he could get a really good partnership going with Kilman on the other side, hopefully. Alexis Saelemaekers, I don't know enough about. I really don't know enough about, and I'll be brutally honest, I don't know enough about John Duran either, to be honest with you. Other than even in the process of looking at his stats whilst you're with me, I sort of looked and thought, initially 35 matches, 5 goals isn't very impressive. Oh, look, he's actually scored a goal every 111 minutes of Premier League football. And that makes it look a little bit more impressive. And as I say, the fact that he's 20 years of age, he's got a bit of Premier League experience. Maybe that's a couple of boxes ticked. But I guess it hinges upon what sort of deal it would be. Is it going to be sort of like a 4-year, 5-year, 60-year deal? What money is he going to want, etc., etc.? No. I think my daughter got Bowen 20 on the back. I didn't, and I got a name and number on the back of someone that played a key role that night, and I probably will get a lot of stick for this, but I don't care. And it does say Rice 41. What can I say? He lifted the trophy. Look, he played a key role in that run. He played a key run in us getting to that trophy lift. And yeah, what can I say? I got the captain's name and number put on the back. And okay, it was his last match for us, and he's doing what he's doing at another team down the road. But no, I got it. I got it on the back. No, do you know what he did? No idea. Oh, Kent, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Ivan Toney, 40 million. Do you think we're going to get him? I'm not entirely convinced. I think that he's probably going to want European football, which we don't have. And I don't think that we're going to be able to attract him, if I'm being brutally honest with you, without it. But listen, it could be that I'm talking through my arse. Yeah, he's becoming a distant memory to me as well, Larry. But look, he played a key part on that night. So, but listen, I'm going to toddle off. As I say, I just wanted to sort of press record and just let you know that I'm still alive, basically. I wasn't enjoying the football last season, if I'm being honest. It became a bit of a chore. I needed a bit of a break from all of this. This stuff is tougher than you'd think. It really is. It takes up spare time and all the rest of it. And I just couldn't be asked with it. So I had to have a little bit of a break. But I've had my batteries recharged. I've got a little bit of my enthusiasm back. I'm looking forward to the beginning of the next season. I'm hoping that the new man can do something. And we'll see. But Larry's saying he wants Tony. I say I wouldn't turn my nose up to him at all, but I'm not quite convinced that we're going to be as an attractive enough proposition for him. Kent says, put money on the table. See the Peterborough chairman says Sully loves Tony. He does, but if Julian Lopetegui doesn't believe he's going to fit into his new style of football, then he's the boss, I guess. And it's good to see you as well, Larry. Do appreciate you joining us. So anyway, I'm gonna love you guys and leave you. It's been really good to just sort of get this off my chest, get this one out the way, and I'm gonna hit end stream shortly. I'll play out with the usual bits and pieces, but thanks for joining us. Until next time, come on, you Irons, and don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. We'll see you next time.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.